Take out a map and smooth the creases in front of you. Rural towns and cities cluster around thin blue lines, snaking through a flat paper world. Colors and borders define who owns what. A map simplifies our understanding of the environment around us. The Rio Grande is complex and dynamic. It cuts through forests, rifts through valleys, and descends across steppes and deserts on its 1,900-mile journey to the Gulf of Mexico. Humans have built their communities around this river since time immemorial, just as all the creatures who seek its life-giving waters. The Central Flyway is a migratory bird corridor that spans from the boreal forests of Canada to the highlands of Mexico. This flyway intersects Colorado's San Luis Valley, funneling downstream to central New Mexico. Over 400 bird species shape their habitual and intricate lives along this path. It's learned knowledge, passed from parent to child, from generation to generation. Rich, seasonal wetlands, fed by the Rio Grande and now sustained by agriculture, provide critical habitat for many avian species. Generations of farmers and ranchers have relied on spring runoff to flood irrigate fields for hay production and livestock grazing. Sandhill cranes are the harbingers of seasonal change, signaling the end of a wild harvest along the middle Rio Grande or ushering in the beginning of another irrigation year as farmers in the San Luis Valley decide what to plant. These landscapes are among the most important natural resources in the Intermountain West, serving as a source of economic value and survival for local communities. It is estimated that over 90% of the historic wetlands and riparian habitats along the Rio Grande Corridor have been lost in the past 150 years. This flyway is fragile and under constant change. Scarcity of water, forage, and habitat availability due to prolonged drought, water development, and land use changes threaten its future. Public and private lands work in tandem to provide vital riparian habitat up and down the river corridor. Each bit of remaining habitat has the potential to make a big difference for wildlife conservation, while preserving cultures built from the soil up. Like in most of the West, lands in the Rio Grande Corridor are predominantly public, but the majority of available habitat is found on the small fraction of land that is private. This creates unique opportunities for land managers and landowners to work together on wetland conservation and agricultural sustainability. The Intermountain West joint venture developed Water 4 to work across jurisdictional boundaries and connect various interests to support community-based conservation. The San Luis Valley and the Middle Rio Grande have been recognized by the joint venture for its critical wetland habitat, along with the opportunity to spur even more conservation through existing partnerships. Water 4 seeks to boost science, cross-boundary collaboration, and funding to conserve wet meadows and water for agriculture. It aims to protect wildlife and fishery habitat, groundwater resources, and landscape resiliency in ways that matter to people. Water 4 science, like a study on the movements and land use of the Rocky Mountain population of Greater Sandhill Cranes, continues to show that agricultural lands sustained wetland habitats along the Rio Grande for migratory birds. Cross-boundary collaboration between public and private land managers is vital for successful conservation of these areas, as is funding to on-the-ground partners and projects. The protection of the environment and farmlands are now more than ever tied together. Tens of thousands of conserved and restored acres along the river reflect what these communities have accomplished already through partnerships. Yet, there's so much more work to be done. This thin ribbon of green will disappear within a generation without action. The long-term fate of the Rio Grande lies in our hands, for both people and wildlife.